Hello. Okay, I guess that's recording. Hello, this is Ron Adams, and I promised to do a Carl Jung video like last October, I think. So I wanted to do a little reading from his Red Book. So it's a big book, man. Anyway, let's just get right to it. Hope you like to hear stories. So excuse me if can't see my face already. The solitary lives in an endless desert full of awesome beauty. Let me start over just in case. Actually, I don't even need them. No. Okay, here we go. This is called a piece. This is Liber Secundus. We're on page 269, and this is a piece titled "The Anchorite." The solitary lives in endless desert full of awesome beauty. He looks at the whole and at inner meaning. He loathes manifold diversity if it is near him. He looks at it from afar in its totality. Consequently, silvery splendor and joy and beauty cloak diversity for him. What is near him must be simple and innocent, since close at hand the manifold and complicated tear and break through the silvery splendor. No cloudiness of the sky, no haze or mist is allowed to be around him, otherwise he cannot look at the distant manifold in the whole. Consequently, the solitary loves the desert above all, where everything nearby is simple, and nothing turbid or blurred lines between him and the far away. The life of the solitary would be cold were it not for the immense sun, which makes the air and rocks glow. The sun and its eternal splendor replace for the solitary his own life warmth. His heart longs for the sun. He wanders to the lands of the sun. He dreams of the flickering splendor of the sun, of the hot red stones spread out at midday, of the golden hot rays of dry sand. The solitary seeks the sun, and no one else is so ready to open his heart as he is. Therefore he loves the desert above all, since he loves its deep stillness. He needs little food, since the sun and its glow nourish him. Consequently, the solitary loves the desert above all, since it is a mother to him, giving him food and invigorating him with warmth at regular hours. And in the desert the solitary is relieved of care, and therefore turns his whole life to the sprouting garden of his soul, which can flourish only under a hot sun. In his garden the delicious red fruit grows that bears swelling sweetness under a tight skin. You think that the solitary is poor. You do not see that he strolls under laden fruit trees, and that his land touches grain 100-fold. Under dark leaves the overfilled reddish blossoms swell toward him from the abundant buds, and the fruit almost hurts with thronging juices. Fragrant resins drip from his trees, and under his feet thrusting seeds break open. If the sun sinks into the plain of the sea like an exhausted bird, the solitary envelops himself and holds his breath. He does not move in his pure expectancy until the miracle of the renewal of light rises in the east. Brainfully delicious expectation is the solitary. The horror of the desert and of withered evaporation surround him, and you do not understand how solitary can live. But his eyes rest on the garden, and his ears listen to the source, and his hand touches the velvet leaves and the fruit, and his breath draws sweet perfumes from blossom-rich trees. He cannot tell you, since the splendor of his garden is so abundant. He stammers when he speaks of it, and it appears to you to be poor in spirit and in life, but his hand does not know where it should reach in all this indescribable fullness. He gives you a small, insignificant fruit, which has just fallen at his feet. It appears worthless to you, but if you consider it, you will see that this fruit tastes like a sun, which you could not have dreamt of. It gives off a perfume which confuses your senses and makes you dream of rose gardens and sweet wine and whispering palm trees. And you hold this one fruit in your hands, dreaming, and then you would like the tree in which it grows, the garden in which this tree stands, and the sun which brought forth this garden. And you yourself want to be that solitary who strolls with the sun in his garden, his gaze resting on the pendant flowers, and his hand brushing 100-fold of grain, and his breath drinking the perfume from 1,000 roses. Dull from the sun and drunk from the fermenting vines, you lay down in ancient graves whose walls resound with many voices and many colors of 1,000 solar years. When you grow, then you see everything living again as it was, and when you sleep, you rest like everything that was, and your dreams echo softly again from the distant temple of chance. I have to read that again because I like the main line, of course, that I screwed up there. Dull from the sun and drunk from the fermenting vines, you lie down in ancient graves whose walls resound with many voices and many colors of 1,000 solar years. And when you grow, then you see everything living again, and when you sleep, you rest like everything that was, and your dreams echo softly again from the distant temple chants. You sleep down through the 1,000 solar years, and you wake up through the 1,000 solar years, and your dreams are full of ancient lore. The walls of your bedchamber, you also see yourself in the totality. You sit and lean against the wall and look at the beautiful, riddlesome totality. The summa lies before you like a book, and an unspeakable greed seizes you to devour it. Consequently, you lean back and stiffen and sit for a long time. You are completely incapable of grasping it. Here and there the light flickers. Here and there the fruit falls from the high trees which you can grasp, and here and there your foot strikes gold. But what is it if you compare it with the totality, which lies spread out tangibly close to you? You stretch out your hand, but it remains hanging in invisible webs. You want to see it exactly as it is, but something cloudy and opaque pushes itself exactly in between. You would like to tear a piece of it out of a piece of it, smooth and impenetrable, like polished steel. You sink back against the wall. And when you have crawled through all the glowing hot crucibles of hell of doubt, you sit once more and lean back. And you look at the wonder of the summit that lies spread out before you, and here and there a light flickers, and here and there a fruit falls. For you it is all too little, but you begin to be satisfied with yourself, and you pay no attention to the years passing away. What are years? What is hurrying time to him that sits under a tree? Your time passes like a breath of air, and you wait for the next light, the next fruit. The writing lies before you, and The writing lies before you and always says the same, if you believe in words. But if you believe in things in whose places only words stand, you never come to the end. And you must go on an endless road, since life flows not only down a finite path, but also an infinite one. But the unbounded makes you anxious, since the unbounded is fearful, and your humanity rebels against it. Consequently, you seek limits and restraints so that you do not lose yourself, tumbling into infinity. Restraint becomes imperative for you. You cry out for the word which has one meaning and no other, so that you can escape the boundless ambiguity. The Word becomes your God, since it protects you from the countless possibilities of interpretation. The Word is protective magic against the demons of the unending, which tear at your soul and want to scatter you to the winds. You are saved if you can say that at last. That is that, and only that. You speak the magic word and the limitless is finally banished. Because of that, men seek and make words. He who breaks the wall of words overthrows gods and defiles temples. The solitary is a murderer. He murders the people because he thus thinks and thereby breaks down the ancient sacred walls. He calls up the demons of the boundless. He sits, leans back, and does not hear the groans of mankind, whom the fearful, fiery smoke has seized. And yet you cannot find the new words if you do not shatter the old words. But no one should shatter the old words unless he finds the new word, that is a firm rampart against the limitless, and grasps more life in it than the old word. A new word is a new God for old men. Man remains the same even if you create a new model for God for him. He remains an imitator. What was word shall become man. The Word created the world and came before the world. It lit up like a light in the darkness, and the darkness did not comprehend it. And thus the Word should become what the darkness can comprehend, since what use is light if the darkness does not comprehend it? But your darkness should grasp the light. The God of words is cold and dead, and shines from afar like the moon, mysteriously and inaccessible. Let the Word return to its Creator, to man, and thus the Word will be heightened in man. Man should be light, limits, measure. May he be your fruit, for which you longingly reach. The darkness does not comprehend the Word, but rather man. Indeed, it seizes him, since he himself is a piece of the darkness. Not from the Word down to man, but from the Word up to man. That is what the darkness comprehends. The darkness is your mother. She behooves reverence, since the mother is dangerous. She has power over you, since she gave birth to you. Honor the darkness as the light, and you will illumine your darkness. If you comprehend the darkness, it seizes you. It comes over you like the night, with black shadows and countless shimmering stars. Silence and peace come over you if you begin to comprehend the darkness. Only he who does not comprehend the darkness fears the night. Through comprehending the dark, the nocturnal, the abysmal in you, you become utterly simple, and you prepare to sleep through the millennia like everyone else, and you sleep down into the womb of the millennia, and your walls resound with ancient temple chants, since the simple is what always was. Peace and blue night spread over you while you dream in the grave of the millennia. I like that piece. I like what Carl Jung talked about in his archetypes and his understandings of myths and archetypes. Well, Joseph Campbell went on to do myths, and I'll be doing the Joseph Campbell one probably eventually. But Carl Jung warned people of the Armageddon archetype. And he didn't even know about 2012. He just pulled this out of the collective, and he said that there's come certain times when self-fulfilling prophecies, like in the book of Revelations, I'll pick that one. People start to believe that, and then if other world events happen, or other synchronicities happen, or other things come to reinforce that, pretty soon it snowballs, and everybody's like, it's the end of the world, 2012. I think 2012 is probably just going to be another day. I also think it might be a lot of people going to sacred places to meditate and do magic, and I think it'll be many things. I don't think it'll be any one thing. It's like there's a lot